Welcome to the Light Reading Podcast. This is the Notebook Dump edition, and congratulations for making it through another week. You are finishing up week 16 of 52 for 2023. So pat yourself on the back. It's not supposed to be this hard, but sometimes it is. My name is Phil Harvey, and joining me are my colleagues, Nicole Ferraro in New York. Hello, Nicole.
Hello.
We've got Kelsey Zeiser in North Carolina. How you doing, Kelsey?
Good.
Checking in from Colorado, we have Mike Dano. Hey, Mike.
Good morning.
And we also have Jeff Baumgartner in Colorado as well. I think Mike is either frozen or has logged off.
We forgot to plug him in last night. Crap.
Oh, yeah. Somebody needs to recharge him. So you get the charge up to like 80%, and then he's good to go to work. Any less than that, you have to plug him in again. But that's okay. We'll tough it out. We'll soldier on. Let's see. One quick thing to mention. I mentioned it the last time, and we didn't have a notebook dump last week for technical reasons. But I did want to remind everybody that the Leading Lights Awards is now accepting entries. We are open for entries for 2023. We have, so get your entries in now. We're going to be announcing the winners far off into the future, the week of Monday, September 25th, and right before Mobile World Congress in Las Vegas. But the entry time is just going to last about 60 days. So the clock is ticking. Get in your entries. If you did anything worthy of note for the whole industry from Q2 2022 to Q2 2023, we want to hear about it. And please do check out the new categories as well, because we've revamped that as we do every year. Anyway, enough about the promo stuff. Let's go around and find out what the heck is happening out there. Nicole, we'll go back to you. What's going on? What have you been covering this week?
Sure. Well, I wanted to ask if you're all okay, given the new war, the war of the white papers.
Oh,
yep, I know. Some bruising out there.
Yeah.
This week. Earlier this week, I wrote about one such white paper, a new one from Toronto Wireless, showing that it cost over $200 billion to satisfy the BEAD program fully with fiber. And that's, of course, more than the $42.5 billion available for the BEAD program. But wait, there's more, because that was followed by another white paper from the Fiber Broadband Association in coordination with Vantage Point Solutions.
Let me guess where they ended up on the argument.
You're not going to believe this. Are you sitting down? Yes, I can see that. Yes. So they, believe it or not, showed in their white paper that unlicensed fixed wireless isn't reliable for closing the digital divide like fiber is, essentially because of limited spectrum availability and long-term costs. But wait, there's more, because you wouldn't believe it. But before that, the Wireless Internet Service Providers Association had released their own white paper showing that following BEAD to the letter of the full fiber preference could plausibly add tens of billions of dollars to the build-out costs and leave people disconnected for longer. But wait,
oh no,
there's more. Because ACA Connects, which represents small and mid-sized cable companies who are essentially building out with fiber at this point, said that in their study, they found that there is enough BEAD funding to cover almost all of the locations with fiber. So what to believe when all of these people are coming from unbiased places, right, and studying the data as it is very clearly available? It's hard to know. But if I can offer some context, it's that in case you're unaware, the BEAD rules do prioritize fiber in most locations, except beyond an extreme high cost threshold where it's too expensive to deploy fiber. At that point, you can give BEAD grant funding to unlicensed fixed wireless projects and otherwise. Fixed wireless companies aren't happy about this and have been trying to release data to encourage states to allow for more fixed wireless in their programs, and the fiber industry has been working to the opposite effect to say give as much to fiber as possible. So all of this is just sort of ramping up as we get closer and closer to NTIA saying how much money the states are going to get, which is happening on June 30th. And from then on, the states have like 180 days to get their initial BEAD plans approved. And so all of this information is basically trying to get NTIA to loosen its rules a little bit, which time is running out on that. B, more directly trying to get states to, believe one of these versions of the story and write their rules accordingly. So anyway, stay safe out there.
Yeah. There's so much white paper
Don't get a
warring
paper cut
going on. It's weird too, because it instead of coalescing around the thought of let's just connect as many people as possible as quickly as possible, it's all like no, our modality is supreme and everything else is garbage, and that's just not true.
Sure. Well, lobbyists lobby.
Yeah, but no, I was particularly shocked to hear that the Fiber Broadband Association is in favor of fiber broadband.
I didn't mean to blow your mind, but
no, it says it right there on the tin, as they say.
They're all in for fiber. Yeah.
Well,
crazy.
Yeah, I do hope that that states won't be quite as myopic about it, though, because I think in a lot of cases fixed wireless will get you somewhat there, and then you can build fiber the rest of the way when there's more time, more money, more resources, that sort of thing. But there is something to be said for let's just get people hooked up as quickly as we can, because that's the problem, really. Anyway, thanks, Nicole, for enduring all of the paper cuts and God knows what else.
Send you some Neosporin.
Thank you. That was the purpose of me sharing all of this.
Yeah,
just one, though. That's all we have budget for.
Fair enough.
So don't
Kelsey,
read anymore.
You've been monitoring the transatlantic links, I think, and checking out who's got what kind of bandwidth, what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, so Lumen had a 400G IP transit port update. They said they're expanding those across their internet backbone in US and Europe. And Andrew Dugan, their CTO, said that it combines Lumen's 400G transit ports with the company's 400G gig wavelengths. And those are for ultra high bandwidth connections. So hyperscalers, wholesale companies, ISPs, gaming companies, things like that. So they said they're currently in eight markets, and they're, I think, expanding 12 additional markets in the US and EMEA this year and through next year. So 400 gig for everyone.
So they're so they're trying to really put down the, some credibility as one of the leading transatlantic traffic haulers, so that they can get a lot of wholesale traffic, a lot of I guess some retail traffic, but mostly for companies like you said. The wholesale, the hyperscalers already have quite a bit of subsea capacity, but that they own themselves. But there are tons and tons of enterprises, especially with everybody going to the cloud, and bandwidth. The bandwidth needs going up every year. There are tons of enterprises that are getting, I guess, more savvy about purchasing wholesale wavelengths themselves for their own purposes, as opposed to going through carriers. So I guess Lumen can kind of have it both ways and make sure it's well positioned in the market. And I think the eight markets is interesting, or going from 8 to 12. Is that what they're doing?
They're going to do 12 additional.
12 additional. Okay. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to, fill out as many landing points in the US as they can, so they can get closer and closer to customers, who might be needing that kind of capacity. So interesting stuff. 400 gig is nothing to sneeze at. That's definitely the going rate for transatlantic, and it'll be 800 gig soon enough. I think in some cases it's already being built out. I don't know if it's happening, if those links have been turned on yet, but that's a pretty big development for for all you optical networking nerds out there.
This
Jeff,
one's for you, Sterling parent.
That's right.
Yeah.
Jeff, you just got back from Las Vegas, and you still have the shirt on your back, so that's good. But what were you doing out there?
Oh, your shirt didn't stay in Vegas?
No. Actually, I had to come back with all my clothes. Yeah. No.
Okay.
I spent a very short time at NAB, shorter than normal, and yet I'm still like punchy. I don't know. But I was there long enough to get a little bit of a fix on some of the bigger, like germane to us topics being discussed. And the first thing is I think everyone's just keeping tabs on what attendance is looking like, right, at some of these bigger events. And just to get that out of the way, it's clear that it's coming back to a degree. I think NAB's preliminary count was about 65,000 registered people in attendance this year, and that was up from like 52,000 last year, but still off from the 91,000 or so that were there at the 2019 show before the pandemic. But overall, it seemed pretty busy. It was nice to have much of what I was focused on in the West Hall, the new West Hall. It still has like that new car smell, so it didn't feel like I was walking through, 1975
new convention center smell.
Yeah, exactly.
It smells like burnt coffee and forgotten dreams.
That's right. A lot of lost dreams in those other halls, but
I mean, it's great.
Yeah. So the fresh West Hall, and but as far as like content, I did stop by the streaming summit there for a couple of sessions, where we got an update from Zumo, the Comcast Charter streaming joint venture, and Colin Petrie Norris, their chief revenue and platform officer, said that there's a new Zumo streaming box that's going to come out later that year, and it's going to be a little standalone device that complements the integrated connected TVs that they're offering through partners like Hisense and Element Electronics. And early on, it looks like that box is going to succeed the Flex box that Comcast has been offering to its broadband-only customers. But it also sounds like Charter's going to use it to provide devices to their video customers as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that strategically fits in for both of those operators. But the overall idea is to provide a platform that can aggregate all of your content, pay TV as well as all the streaming stuff onto a unified interface, and with app and content aggregation and access to the free ad-supported stuff from the Zumo Play service. So that was one thing. And then the other update we also had was on the ATSC 3.0 transition, which has to do with the new IP-based broadcast TV signaling standard that supports 4K, high dynamic range, advanced advertising, can do some broadband connectivity. So a lot of uses for it. I did see some demos of it in action, but I think the big news this week was the collaboration between the FCC and the NAB on the transition, which stands at about 60% of all U.S. households today. So they announced this Future of TV initiative, or at least FCC Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel did. And they're going to do a roadmap for the transition that will include some working groups linked towards that goal, including some focus on backwards compatibility. Pardon me, with the 1.0 standard. So not a lot of detail beyond that, but more to come. And I did see some demos. Yeah, there were some demos. I saw Pac-Man.
That seems dated.
Casual games, but but also VOD and some other applications.
Oh, but this was all being done over the air TV, right. TV antennas and stuff like that. So not something. Yeah. Okay, so this is okay. Well, that's important, because most people aren't going to be able to, or a lot of people are not going to be able to afford having 11 streaming services and only watching, one or two things a week. So they've got to figure out a way for regular people to get regular TV because it's always been free and over the air until they turn it off, I guess.
Right. Yeah. No, it's just, I think that they're trying to find some different use cases for this. Advanced advertising, you can do like start over a program, that's already in progress. But they're doing it in conjunction with like this software stack that can do some of this other stuff. So I think there's still some skepticism about how well the standard is going to do with respect to consumer adoption. I think there, a lot more awareness and availability needs to be done for sure. In addition to the whole rollout part, getting it available across the country. But a little bit of a progress update. So a great show for that to happen.
With the and speaking of going back to that point about the size of NAB, I mean, I think the broadcast industry itself has shrank considerably in the last few years. Radio TV stations are consolidating at a ridiculous rate, and all the small market stuff's going out of business. So it doesn't surprise me at all that there's just a smaller pool of companies and exhibitors and people in the industry to attend.
Well, and it feels like the whole event itself has become kind of a video technology show, whether it's streaming, and there's a lot of like workflow and coding, a lot of the back office workflow stuff seems to be one of the bigger focuses there, in addition to the regulatory things that they have to talk about.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Mike, while Jeff is coughing his way through through allergies or what have you,
being in Vegas,
maybe too many cigars in Vegas. Let's be honest, right?
I'm sure there was some airborne fun stuff going on that I also brought back, but that's something I'll survive, I think.
Well, Mike's plugged back in now. He's live on the internet. We can see him again. So what fell out of your notebook this week?
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me okay now. But good. I have been looking at or watching the progress of ChatGPT through the telecom industry. There's some developments there. Have you guys played with that ChatGPT? Have any of you messed around
with it?
Just
really simple prompts.
No?
Nothing major.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've enjoyed playing with it, but it's stirring up some consternation and controversy in telecom a little bit. So we had the company Calix, a vendor. We had them announce that they're going to ban the usage of ChatGPT, just because if you put information into it, there's no reassurance that it's going to remain private. That was mainly their concern. It's not that they're worried about AI necessarily. They're just worried about that particular program, and they're going to use other like AI language type programs in the future. But after that happened, we had a couple of other like sort of AI ChatGPT related developments happen. We had the CEO of Telefonica posted a blog post about AI. He said, quote, "It's time to stop and think." And it was sort of this like long, sort of wandering essay about, aren't humans okay and whatever, blah, blah, blah.
No.
And he said, we must be people-centric was his conclusion. But then at the same time, there's another consulting company called Bane came out and had a whole list of things that they recommended telecom people do with this language AI stuff. They said, use it across customer service, use it across HR, use it across marketing campaigns. They had a whole thing about, basically their argument was speedy action trumps perfect planning. That was their approach to AI, was that you should jump in and just start using it. They said Vodafone has a way of approaching AI in general. They said Vodafone developed an operating model that allowed it to assess the level of scrutiny required for different types of AI applications and use cases. So they have Vodafone has like a cohesive approach to AI now, and they recommended a lot of other telecom operators do the same. So
that's a very polished consultant version of Silicon Valley's "run fast and break things" kind of mantra,
exactly.
which works really well as you see so much that Silicon Valley has broken over the years. They keep running fast and they keep
all
breaking
of society,
things, but they don't really ever build anything sustainable that works worth the crap. So yeah, good job, Silicon Valley. But no, I wonder about the I kind of share what Calix's CEO was saying. I do think companies ought to have a little bit more of a skeptical view about just about their ChatGPT usage or any AI usage, because they are capturing that data so that they can train more AI. And I think there really is no guarantee, and there's no safety mechanism. Let's put it this way: no believable safety mechanism put in place that's going to safeguard your information or the confidentiality of whatever you're sharing or writing about. So I do think people ought to be very careful about what they put in there, for sure.
Right.
Are there other operators that have talked about their framework for using ChatGPT, or are they just talking about they've developed a system of rules internally and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think that I would be surprised if a lot of operators are following this same approach that this Telefonica guy is taking, which is like, he says the rights of people must be prioritized over any other criteria, and he just takes a very high-minded approach to this. I think that other operators are probably being a lot more pragmatic. In fact, just this week, we had the CEO of AT&T talk about how they're using AI in their operations. He mentioned the new partnership with NVIDIA, and they're using AI to help route technicians more efficiently. And naturally, they're putting it in customer service. I think there's no surprise there. But yeah, I think my assumption is that there's lots and lots of tests going on right now. And the Bane people just say, definitely do that and definitely test a lot and just go, go.
I hope they said all that in the Bane voice from Christopher Nolan's Batman movie.
Do you feel in charge?
I grew up in the darkness.
I was born in the darkness.
Born in the darkness. Guided by AI.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt that.
Color content.
I've tried to use ChatGPT and Bard for research, and they're both very bad at research. Like, the information is bad.
It's plausible sounding, but completely wrong, I think is the
yeah, completely wrong. Completely wrong.
I think isn't that my middle name, is plausible sounding, but like Mike, plausible sounding, but completely wrong. That's what my wife was.
Is there somebody at Bane Consulting that talks in Bane voice? I've got to get to the bottom of this. This would be so exciting if they're delivering, their findings that way. Be a big press conference.
In voice.
I mean, I think they should just hire you. Are you? Is this your interview right now?
I thought it was weird that they all had pictures with that thing on their face, so you couldn't really see their mouth.
I thought they were against masking.
That's weird, but
whatever.
It's cool.
Whatever. Yeah, great, good stuff. Now,
have you guys ever seen BaneCat? Not to go too far off the rails.
No.
All right, we'll have to link to that in the show notes.
All right, we'll link to it in the show notes. Oh, boy, I just agreed to let
Is
you link
this
to
your
something
armory?
Changing the subject slightly, as we I don't have a flash poll for us to weigh in on, but I do want your opinion on something. There was a pitch that was sent to me about the rise in pub popularity. A couple of companies that manage Wi-Fi connections said that new data on guest Wi-Fi connections unveiled today that there's a 45% increase in people over 60 visiting pubs and and going online compared to 2019, pre-lockdown level. And they said that let's see, what other age groups had jumped. Oh yeah, the millennials had also seen a 43% increase in 2022. So I guess they were getting all of this information by seeing how many people were logged in from pub locations all over Europe. And I think that's an interesting way to track how much people are drinking. I'm not sure that's a great Wi-Fi story, to be honest, but they were hoping we would cover it as a Wi-Fi story.
I think we should do some primary research.
Yeah, that's true. Do people really? I mean, does everybody like? Is that the first thing you do when you go to a pub? You look for the free Wi-Fi. I don't even pull out my phone unless I'm trying to settle a bet or something.
Well, now they have. I wonder if it's in part because all those menus have gone to.
Oh, right.
The QR codes.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because that is like the first thing I do is scan the menu.
That's true. Yeah.
That's
figured it out.
There we go. She solved
Pizza,
it.
Chicken wings.
Wow.
Did the PR people even mention that? Because that's so obvious.
I know.
Unbelievable.
I'm gonna send them. I'm gonna send somebody from Bane to talk to them about this.
You buried the lead,
and she's right here. There we go.
Don't bury the lead.
Born in the pub, molded by it.
You scan the menu and then you get online. I don't know what voice that was.
Yeah,
that was Yoda.
Yoda.
They sounded kind of similar, right? Yeah.
QR code you scan.
I'm not going to say Bane and Yoda are worlds apart. They're pretty close in my very limited range of impressions.
I thought you meant like what they stand for.
This whole time, I don't even know who Bane is. I don't know what you're talking about this whole time. I'm just
Batman
pretending.
Listeners.
Oh no!
Get out, Nicole. Just get out.
She knows who Yoda is. So.
She's really leaving.
I think our
Nicole, come back.
Take it back.
Nicole, wait. Tell us more about who's winning the fiber war or something.
Oh well,
you have me at fiber.
Okay. Well, anyway, that was the pitch. So I guess we covered the story as well as we could, and I'm sure that PR person is at the pub right now, drowning their sorrows in terms of it's not exactly what they were expecting. But anyway, I think we need to close it out. So that wraps up another edition of the Notebook Dump. This one for the week ending Friday, April 21st, 2023. Editors, thank you so much for contributing. Thank you all for listening, and thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye forever.